Hey there again, it's your boy Cosmo. Hope you're doing great wherever you find that. Coming at you today with something a little bit different. Actually, it's night, the time I'm recording it, but so I saw that Coca-Cola came out with yet another new soda. Now this one's a little bit different. I know a year or so ago they started doing their abstract series where it's like, this tastes like the internet, or this tastes like a cloud or something like that. I don't know. It was ridiculous. It barely tasted different than a regular Coke. But what's interesting about this new one, and I got it in zero sugar, just because I don't really like regular soda and I don't need the extra calories. I've just grown up on diet soda or zero sugar soda. The other stuff is like too cloyingly sweet in the mouth. Like I said, it's just a lot of extra empty calories. But I did get the zero sugar version of the new Coca-Cola Spiced. Now, the interesting thing about this is I've seen ads for it online, little commercials, and they say it has a surprising, excuse me, and should do another take, not going to, because that's how professional I am. But yeah, the ads I've seen says has a surprising kick or something like that, a surprising punch, I believe it was, of raspberry and spices. But yet, it's just called Coca-Cola Spiced. It does say here, raspberry spiced flavors. I'll let you get a close-up on that. So it does show that. But if you were just to look at it, like in the cooler at the convenience store, which is where I got it, just says Coca-Cola Spiced. So we'll see how much raspberry, how much spice there is to it, and overall what I think of it. So I kind of like trying different sodas. Some of them are better than others. Mountain Dew usually does a pretty decent job. The Mountain Dew, what was it, the Flaming Hot? That was weird, but I liked it. But let's give it a crack. Had it in the freezer for a while. Then had to let it thaw out because I had it in too long. Okay, good to see it didn't explode on me. And just twisting the cap, I could smell raspberry. So I'm thinking this is going to be pretty strong raspberry. Do a little bottle note. And first and foremost, I get a really sweet raspberry aroma. Like a raspberry candy. Somewhat natural, but definitely smells like a raspberry Jolly Rancher times about 3 or 5. And then on the back note, I am getting a little bit of a spice, maybe like a baking spice, like a clove or a nutmeg. Which is interesting. I've had I think Mountain Dew did a gingerbread one, and I enjoyed that. That was definitely well spiced. Let's give it a sip and see what we think. Wow. That is, it's pretty much Coke, only in mouthfeel. Not getting a whole lot of cola taste. First and foremost, I'm getting that raspberry candy flavor. Like, for being called a spiced cola, I think they should have called it raspberry cola with a blast of spice or something like that. Now, I am definitely getting the spice, but that's more like a finishing note. It's kind of like the spice is mixed in with that carbonation. So the actual liquid to me is getting more of that candy raspberry, and then when you feel the carbonation, you're kind of filling those spices. As far as specific spices, I'm going to say dominant spices, hands down, clove. Maybe a little bit of nutmeg to kind of round out the roughness of clove, because clove is a very assertive spice. Not really getting any type of like cinnamon or anything like that per se. Well, aftertaste. That nutmeg, clove, like I said, primarily clove. But the aftertaste is giving me a little bit of cinnamon. Somewhere between like a red hot cinnamon candy and fresh cinnamon. That's it. Let me do one more sip. And I'm not going to drink the whole thing right here on camera, because I do want to sit and enjoy this and let it finish thawing, as there's a slight iceberg in there. So, first thing that hits you, bright, sweet raspberry Jolly Rancher. Imagine if this was the regular versus zero sugar. The sweetness with like the actual sugar would be just too cloyingly sweet for me, but I'm not going to try it, so I can't speak for it. And then that raspberry, even though it's bold and sweet and right in your face, it quickly dissipates, it quickly gives way, and then you get the carbonation, you get the spice. Like I said, I don't know if I'm necessarily tasting nutmeg, but it's like a smooth clove taste. But then after I've had a sip, and the flavor kind of settles in my mouth, then I'm getting essence of fresh cinnamon mixed with like a red hot cinnamon candy. You know, those little red cinnamon candies that, you know, maybe were put up on Christmas sugar cookies for like Rudolph's nose. Something like that. Overall verdict, I think it's tasty. I think it's weird. Or at the very least, unique. It is a soda I would enjoy buying occasionally. Wouldn't want to drink it all the time. But what would be the occasion that I would drink it? It might be good with like a salty, like buttery popcorn, like at a movie theater. I wouldn't want to have it with something that has lots of its own spices, like a Thai or Indian or Mexican food. I just think, even though the spices would probably go really well with like a Thai food, because they use a lot of that clove and stuff, I think it'd be too conflicting. Pizza, not really. I think if I were to have this with like a meal, probably be something like a cheeseburger or a bacon double cheeseburger, maybe even just a hamburger. You'd want that sweetness and the spice to help kind of cut through like the fattiness of a burger. So that's probably what I'd pair with. But overall, I enjoy it. If you are one that maybe is adventurous and likes to try new flavors, and maybe you're a fan of raspberry candy or you like spice, I suggest giving it a try. But it's not going to be for everybody, which is interesting because they actually announced this as a permanent addition to the Coca-Cola lineup. Now, it will be interesting to see how well it does and if they're actually going to keep it around, or if 6 months or a year from now it just disappears like some of their other flavors that they've tried. I know they tried doing like a whole Diet Coke thing where they had like black cherry, I think ginger was one that I enjoyed a lot. They had like a couple other different flavors, and they didn't stick around. So it'll be interesting to see if this has some staying power. My guess is it probably won't, just because it's so not for everybody, and it is, in the best and worst case possible, a very interesting flavor profile and a very interesting soda. Like I said, I might pick it up a couple times, especially if it's on sale or if I'm just really craving it. But it's not something that I would consider to be like an everyday soda, even though I don't drink soda every day. It's one to play around with, we'll put it at that. But anyways, if you want to see me do any other strange sodas that might be out there, and I don't know what there is. I know Mountain Dew has a couple new ones, but they're all just regular. I don't think they have a zero sugar, or I don't imagine they have a zero sugar option. If they do, I probably can't find it. But as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.